listening to Winnipeg's Classic 107. My name is Simon Rusnak. This weekend, Virtuosi Concerts welcomes back the Gryphon Trio to perform in their Hommage à Harry. The concert also features the return of in-person performance by one of this year's Virtuosi young artists, Alice Macgregor. It's my pleasure to welcome her to the virtual Classic 107 studio. Hey, Alice.
Hi, how are you?
You know what? I'm doing real well. We just sang together in the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra Solomon production as a current and a past member of the University Singers. I know you're not doing a choral number this weekend, but just quickly, how great was that show?
Oh, it was amazing. It was so great to be doing live music again with more than just yourself singing. It was
Yeah,
great.
yeah, ain't that the truth? Just the joy of performing. So, as listeners have likely figured out, you're currently a student at the Desautels Faculty of Music. What year are you in?
So I'm in my third year.
And a performance major then?
Yes. Yep.
Studying with?
Tracy Doll.
Yeah, Tracy Doll. So you got to sing with your teacher last weekend too. How wonderful is that?
I did. Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah.
Um,
She's incredible. It was a great opportunity.
Alice, you're studying here in Manitoba, but you're not originally from here, right?
No, I'm not. I'm from St. John's, Newfoundland.
So what brought you to Manitoba?
So the short answer is Tracy Doll. Yeah, I did a lot of traveling for my undergrad auditions when I was in my senior year of high school. So, I went to Montreal, I went to London, England, and I had numerous people recommend Tracy as a voice teacher to me. She's a coloratura soprano, and that is my Fox. So, it just seemed like the best decision for me. I'd heard great things about U of M as a program as well, but I would say the main reason would be that I wanted Tracy to teach me.
We hear that a lot from young sopranos, and rightfully so. She does such an incredible job. What's it been
Yeah.
like so far? I know it hasn't been a normal undergrad by any means, but what's it been
No,
like thus far? Your experience?
it's been amazing, honestly. I did only have one normal year of my of my undergrad. Actually, not even. I had one normal semester because the second semester of 2020 was when COVID hit. But I think for what it is and where the world is right now, it was as best as it could have been. And it was such a supportive, nurturing environment from the University of Manitoba. All of the profs, all of the voice teachers, were just so understanding with people's mental health during COVID. And you know even now, just with everything opening back up and someone feels uncomfortable coming to campus despite originally saying that they would go, cancellations are ever common now, and they're just so supportive of um, any change in plans. And the opportunities have been amazing. I've sung as Marie in La Fille du Régiment by Donizetti. I've done Cupidon from Orpheus in the Underworld. It's just been an amazing experience because I'd never done stage work. I'd done, arias from different operas in competitions and lesson and stuff, but to do full scenes from operas working with other amazing singers was a big change for me, and it was awesome.
So before we get to chatting about what you're going to be singing this weekend, I do have one more question that I've sort of been thinking about. You sound like you're
Yeah.
really eager to study abroad. I mean, you mentioned London, you mentioned Montreal, you settled here in Winnipeg. So I'm curious. Before you moved halfway across the country, tell us a little bit about your earlier musical years. Were you always singing, or did you study any other musical instruments?
Yes, so I have been singing for honestly as long as I can remember. It was always just a part of who I was. At the age of 7, I started competing. There was like non-competitive competitions that I had done at that point, and then by the time I got to middle school, I upped the ante and did competitive. But yeah, it was about grade 7 that I started studying with Cheryl Hickman, who is the director of Opera on the Avalon in Newfoundland, which is the only professional opera company on the east coast of Canada. Um, and she was incredible. I attribute a lot of my my technique and all of that to her. She was amazing. And yeah, I mean, I did 1 year of no, I did about a year of French horn. I wasn't very good at it. I did 6 or 7 years of violin, but when I was like really small,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then in elementary school and middle school, between those two, I did 6 years of trumpet. I've done 4 years of piano. I know how to play a lot of different instruments. I'm just not very good at them. But I did do that.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, and I was singing by the time I got to high school. That's when it was like, okay, the singing's getting really serious. This is what I want to do in university and later in my life. So in grade 10, it got more serious, just singing a lot and preparing for university.
Well, and here you are now in Winnipeg, a prairie
Yeah.
person. I'm real curious. This weekend you'll be opening for the Gryphon Trio. First things first, what are you gonna be singing?
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing Io son quel gel somino from Vivaldi's Arcilda Regina di Ponto. So it's Miranda's opera aria that closes Act One, and it displays the coloratura-esque voice type. It's what can I say? So the actual opera doesn't actually have a lot of information. It's it's a Baroque from the Baroque period. I know that the plot was considered pretty controversial at the time because they did some gender swaps. So men would play women and women would play men.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that in this aria, I'm Io son quel gelsomino translates to I am like the jasmine flower. So it's Miranda comparing herself to a lonely flower who hides among the grasses and kind of keeps to themselves. And by the end of the aria, she kind of blossoms and comes out of the grasses, metaphorically speaking. And yeah, it's a nice segue into the rest of the opera.
I don't know if I wasn't paying attention in opera studies class or music history. I don't know this opera by Antonio Vivaldi.
No, it's not one of the more common ones for sure.
So then tell us a little bit about the aria itself. I mean, you're telling us what it was about. Is this, kind of your standard sort of da capo aria? Do you get a little bit of flourish in the music? Do you get to show off those coloratura chops?
Yeah, so the format is your classic like A B A prime. So you've got, the A section, and then a B section, which sounds different to the
Yeah, the
A section. And then
contrasting
you
B
go
section. Yeah.
contrasting B
Yeah.
section. That's probably a better way of putting it. And then you go back to the A section, but you ornament. So it will be slightly different, but it is it's rooted in the same melody. And that's where I kind of get to go crazy and do whatever I want, throw in any high notes I want, lots of long fast runs. And yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you
that's
get you
the
get
format.
to ornament and show off a bit, which is the most thrilling part in my mind about the da capo aria is when it comes back to
Totally.
that A prime, and that's something, not to bring this back to Tracy again, but that's something that we heard her just do last weekend. She was just
Yeah,
singing
exactly.
some Baroque oratorio, so I imagine you got to work really closely with her on ornamenting and working through this piece of
Oh,
music, right?
absolutely. Absolutely. We do that a lot in our lessons, just come up with cool ornaments together.
Well, so excited to see what cool ornaments you come up with on Saturday. And one last thing, who are you going to be performing with?
Oh, sorry. I'm going to be performing with Megan Dufrat. So she's my pianist. She's played for me for all of my competitions this year, and is gives me practice session rehearsals whenever I want. She's absolutely amazing. So you'll be excited to hear her play as well.
Well, how fantastic. Alice, thanks so much for taking the time to chat with me at Classic 107 today.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.